All right, my friends, welcome back. This is game number 2 here between Acer's Elfi and EG's Idra. This time we are here on Tal'Darim Altar with Elfi spawning in the upper left-hand position as our red Protoss player. And then down over here in the bottom right, we do have EG's Idra as the blue Zerg player. So yes, game number 2 here in the series between these two players. Idra, unfortunately, last game, losing, going for a very quick third after spotting Elfi's Forge Fast expand. Elfi then moved out with some opening Phoenix Harass into War Prism play, allowing him to warp in constant zealot aggression inside of Idra's main base. Unfortunately, it was something that Idra really wasn't able to deal with at all. And again, it looks like Elfi will be going with a Forge Fast expand this game, much like he did last game as well. So yes, very unfortunate situation last game for Idra. He just wasn't able to deal with that constant harass from the Phoenixes, plus the warp-ins that were taking place of zealots inside of his main. It was a very nice combination of units from Elfi. Certainly a very effective tactic as well. So we can see right now Elfi is moving out with the probe scout after dropping down that 9 pylon outside of the front of his natural expansion. And again, as I mentioned, very likely, of course, to be going for Forge Fast Expand again. Really the only reason for him to be attempting to do something like this. So yes, Forge Fast Expand is what we will be seeing from him. Now back over here, we can see right now continuous scouting from Elfi. First checking that upper right, and then now moving into that bottom left-hand position, at which point he will be scouting out Idra. Looks like Idra has decided to go 15 hatch now, moving out with that drone scout, and we will be seeing in just one moment Elfi moving up and spotting that. So I'm going to be very interested to see what he decides to do. Is he going to attempt to do some cannon harass, or will he just ignore it and head back home? That's really the question. We can see right now, there goes that probe, trying to hide in the corner, and attempting to drop that pylon that immediately got denied by Idra's drone, as it was in a proper location. But now Idra is forced to deal with this. Here's the problem. He will be forced to pull down some guys just to try to deal with this, because cannon harass is imminent. So there we go. We do have that pylon up. The forge hasn't even gone through yet, and there we go. Actually, Elfi canceling that pylon and then pulling back. I'm assuming he was hoping that Idra would respond with more than just that one worker, but as we saw, Idra not overreacting. He decided, you know what, I'm going to see what happens. If the pylon comes in, then I'll try to deal with those cannons. But until then, he wanted to keep up his mining. So very wise decision there by Idra. Back over here for Elfi, we can see that forge coming through. Here comes that gateway as well. Nexus working on through. So trying to get just all that stuff up and running. And then I do wonder, again, he still has that opportunity to go for that cannon harass, but it looks like actually maybe a little bit too late right now. Scouting out, just wanted to check for extractors, the where, when, how, basically kind of stuff. He wants to know how many, what time it got put in, anything like that. But as we can see, Idra hasn't, in fact, gone for that at all. Now moving up, in fact, and we'll be hiding in the upper right position. Also probably checking to see if Idra himself has come out with an additional expansion. He wants to see, hey, did Idra try to go out for a quick third? That would basically inform Elfi. Probably a good idea to come up with some sort of strong early game force and push out. But as we can see, Idra now still just on those 2 bases. Back over here for Elfi, Photon Cannon working its way on through a very large map, so he wasn't too concerned about getting hit too early. Plus, he had full eyes as to what was going on. We do have that drone, and that scout will make it in if he decides to, but no, pulling back. Just as that cannon finished right now, Idra is heading back home. Decided not to move in with that scouting worker. We do have now some Zerglings chasing down Elfi's probe, and as we saw last game, as we talked about last game, this is something that Idra wants to try to get rid of. Also, some secondary scouting coming through there by Elfi, checking once more that 3rd expansion to see if Idra had attempted to move there. As we can see over here, we do have some destructible rocks, and it looks like Idra will be working through that, as his next expansion is very likely to be placed over here, trying to get rid of those rocks to allow him to actually go ahead and come out with that 3rd. We do have actually an base hatch over here at that natural expansion, letting him utilize those extra larvae to drone up a little bit quicker, and of course those larvae to come out with additional units when the time does actually come. Just getting enough Zerglings to try to work down these rocks so that he's hitting it at the exact timing that he does want to come out with that 3rd. We do have a zealot actually moving across the map right now for Elfi as well. Taking a look back inside of the main of Elfi, we can see the level 1 weapon research coming through. Here comes that warp gate research as well. Besides that, just working on that economy, we can see coming out with a lot of probes, just trying to get nice saturation here at both bases. Just sitting on those 2 assimilators, does not have any here at his natural expansion, just the 2 that are sitting up here in the main. And where did that zealot go? Looks like it actually got caught up there by a couple of Zerglings, doing what he can for damage, and I do believe he managed to kill off, yes, it looks like he did kill off 1 Zergling. However, luckily there for Elfi, managing to get off that, managing to get off a lot more damage here so far. Only managed to kill 1 unit, but still, resource-wise, it does look like Elfi is a little bit behind right now at this point in the game. And there we go, Idra still working down on those rocks. Metabolic boost coming on through here in the main. Also, that layer tech just now starting, so working his way up to the higher tech, and also getting that speedling research coming on through. Elfi starting out with a sentry heavy there in terms of units just to defend himself. He just wants to make sure he's got enough sentries to be able to force field back any sort of pressure that may be coming. Idra doesn't appear to be applying any pressure anytime soon. Again, just kind of working on his econ and teching his way up, and that's about it right now. Back over here inside of the main for Elfi. Lots and lots of gateways coming out with 6, in fact, and that's going to put him at a total of 7 gateways. We will be seeing a 7-gate level 1 push here from Elfi. Now, he could just go with the level 1 weapons. He may wait a little while longer and then also try to get the level 1 armor. I'm not entirely sure if he's going to be doing that. We can see those gateways now just finishing. Those will be turned immediately into warp gates, and here start the warp ins. Getting a lot of sentries. He wants to be able to get down a ton of force fields. Also, getting out those sentries first allows him to accumulate that energy so that when he does push out, they are full of energy and will be able to lay down a lot more force fields and be just that much more effective. We are seeing those speedlings now finally coming in for Idra, and we'll be moving up to get that scouting, actually pulling around the backside, checking the 3rd, and then should be moving on up to the front there just to see what he can see. We do have a pro moving out with Elfi's forces, so this is definitely some strong aggression that will be moving out. Speedlings trying to catch a few of those zealots out of position, unfortunately a little too much. We'll be getting us around though on that stalker, taking that out nice and easy, but this is a very threatening push here moving across the map for Elfi. Hopefully Idra manages to scout it early enough so that he may respond. We can see actually right over here with that Zergling, he's fully aware that this is coming, actually moving in with those Zerglings as well, just trying to test those waters. He wants to see exactly what Elfi is pushing down with, and as we can see, relatively strong force here. And how is Idra going to deal? He's got a lot of spines coming on through, coming out with a ton of Zerglings as well, because he knows that this push is about to happen. All right, so here it comes right now. Elfi moving down, and we've got those spines just about finished, but maybe a little bit late. A couple of force fields getting placed down and actually forcing the cancel there on that 1 spine, and we'll be continuing up the aggression here. We do have a lot of speedlings actually in the middle. We'll be trying to take out those proxy pylons, but now moving up the backside, trying to get us around on those sentries as we see Elfi push on forward. Some nice force field walls there from Elfi, making it a little bit difficult for Idra, although Idra doing as much damage as possible, and very nice. Speedlings managed to get up to those sentries, quickly take them out. They will have a hard time against those zealots with enough numbers, plus those spines. You should be all set now. Taking out those sentries was really the biggest thing there for Elfi, and managing to do that for Idra against Elfi, and managing to do that was absolutely huge. So the fact that Idra managed to take out those sentries with those speedlings with some very nice position was certainly very, very pivotal to his success in defending against us. As we can see, Elfi is trying to do what he can to take out that expansion. He's actually in a position to do a lot of damage here, so hopefully we do see Idra respond there with those speedlings. We have a couple mutas coming out, and of course once those are in play, Elfi is going to be in a lot of trouble because he's got no anti-air at the moment. We're going to see Idra pull on down and actually get rid of that pylon over there. And here come the mutas, but unfortunately Idra has already lost that expansion. Those zealots so quickly taking out that hatchery. Now those mutas will be chasing down those zealots without issue. However, it's going to take them a little while to actually kill them. These zealots are so hardy, and with this low amount of mutas, Idra's going to have a little hard time actually taking out all of these. It's going to take him a little while at least. However, we do have nine mutas just about to pop right now, and once those come on through, he'll be able to quickly mop up and actually deciding to throw away some of these Zerglings to move forward with an engagement just to get rid of these zealots a little bit quicker. And there we go, finally getting rid of those zealots, and now it's time for that counterattack. Idra will be moving out against Elfi's base and trying to do some damage, probably using those speedlings as well to try to contain Elfi on the two bases and prevent him from moving out into that third expansion. Couple mutas over here, more mutas joining the group from the backside over there. So here it comes, finally pushing forward and trying to do what he can. Unfortunately, dealing with those phoenixes needs to be very careful, because with some proper micro, Elfi is going to have no problem fending off those mutas. Mutas, again, trying to push forward and do as much damage as possible, really just trying to do a lot of economic damage. First and foremost, though, getting rid of those phoenixes definitely is a priority. And with the very low stalker numbers, he's able to engage. Unfortunately, some more warp-ins will be forcing those mutas back. Idra does not want to take too much damage there to those stalkers, pushing forward to engage. Very interesting decision there by Idra, feeling like he has got just enough. The biggest thing here, though, for Idra is that he's doing a lot of economic damage. We can take a look here, and total killing off 19 workers. So Idra managing to get 19 probes there in that engagement. Absolutely huge. That was some pretty devastating economic damage and exactly what Idra needed. We can see again, Idra is scouting out that expansion. He does, of course, want to check down here and any other likely expansions that Elfi may be going for. But again, that economic damage was absolutely pivotal to Idra's success if he wants to get back in this game. Idra right now finally getting that third back up and running. He's also moving into the fourth over here. And here comes that Muta attack, preparing to engage again. We'll be moving on down. Is he going straight for that pylon? Looks like he will be. Is he going to drop that pylon? Yes. So very close. Just needs one more hit there with that death cloud, and there we go. Killing off the pylon will force Elfi to build another one before he can make any more phoenixes. And that's going to right now force Idra back. There are way too many phoenixes plus stalkers for him to deal with at the current moment. Still scouting out that third expansion over here. Idra will be fully aware when Elfi decides that he is ready to push on into that. Economically, taking a look, Idra does have that advantage. Again, that's primarily due to the fact that he's managed to kill off 20 workers of Elfi so far in this game. More and more mutas coming out. Idra trying to work up the muta numbers as strong as possible. Preparing a transition, though, as we can see here, into a Roach Warren and a Hydralisk Den. So there's the Roach Warren over there. Hydra Den building over here inside of the main. So Idra will be switching it up, going from Spieling Muta right into Roach Hydra. Very interesting decision. We can also see those upgrades coming out. Carapace level 1 plus the missile attack level 1. That, of course, will be helping out those roaches and those hydras. So Idra not planning on using as many speedlings as we work into the middle stages of the game here. Very interesting transition. Not something you see a lot. Usually players, they'll either be going Roach Hydra or they'll be going Spieling Baneling Muta. Very rarely you're going to see kind of a quick switch like that from the mid game. Obviously we see those transitions into infestors and late game units such as Brew Lords, but this is certainly an interesting decision from Idra, and we'll see how it ends up playing out for him. The whole idea, of course, is that he's expecting Elfi to get units to counteract his Speedling Muta, and then if he hits him with Roach Hydra, that's going to do incredibly well against that. And here it comes now, lots and lots of Phoenixes, but Idra managing to get up close, and that is exactly what Elfi doesn't want to happen. Oh, a little bit of miss micro there from Elfi again. He just needs to be careful about getting too close because it's the splash damage of those mutas that's a major concern, but Elfi with more than enough Phoenixes to finally take out all of those mutas, and then now pushing down with those Phoenixes, working his way towards Idra's base. Idra does have a bunch of Speedlings here camped out front. Again, starting to make that transition into those Hydralisks. Elfi moving down, getting some scouting information, spotting the fact that Idra has moved into this expo. Not able to engage with that small amount of Phoenixes just because of that Spore Crawler there. Continuous upgrades coming out, and here come again the Hydra Roach count getting very, very large. We're seeing a few additional gateways get dropped down over here for Elfi. Formulating a wall off. We'll be getting 1 or 2 cannons back here as well to provide some defense against those Speedlings. However, that's not going to help too much against those roaches and hydras once those start to get into heavy numbers and they start to get into play. Can see Pathogen Glands coming out as well, so we'll be working his way up into some infestors. There's the missile attack level 2 Speedlings getting ready to engage. Unfortunately, though, again, because of that nice wall off, that's more than enough for Elfi to actually deal with just those Speedlings. It's those Roach Hydras that he's going to have a hard time with. And here we go. We'll be moving across the map, and look at how slow those Hydralisks are off a creep. It's absolutely pathetic. Hydras are terrible off of the creep. We do have those Phoenixes still moving across the map here for Elfi. Again, he's just primarily scouting with these right now, not able to do too much damage. He has finally scouted out the fact that this push is coming. We do have a Dark Shrine coming on through here for Elfi, also working up into that charge upgrade. A couple of Zerglings moving up first, and then we go. Right now, Idra moving up. Lots and lots of Hydras. The DPS is going to be nuts. We got a couple of Roaches in the mix as well. Still looking very strong for Idra right now, and look at that. Elfi was not prepared for that transition and forced to call the GG. Alright guys, game number 2 here between Idra and Elfi. Moving on to game number 3 in just one moment. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.